I'm joined now by a member of the 2015 NBA All-Rookie Second Team and First Team All-Atlantic 10 in 2014, who is currently a member of the College Park Skyhawks, the G League affiliate for the Atlanta Hawks. On behalf of myself and Brandeis University, Langston Galloway, thank you for joining the program today.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be a part of the podcast and, get to talk about what's going on in my life.
Absolutely. I've heard from various perspectives from guests about how the coronavirus pandemic upended their careers, including athletes. Playing with the Detroit Pistons and Phoenix Suns in 2020 and 2021, can you share how the pandemic changed the NBA landscape and how your 2020 was turned upside down?
Yeah, we were having a pretty reputable season in Detroit, game 66 of the regular season. And, it came to an abrupt stop. We were in Philadelphia. Um, Once we heard the news, kind of got back to Detroit, kind of just got everything situated with the family and trying to figure out what's the next steps and got my family back home as fast as possible once we kind of were clear of everything and just kind of retrace my steps on, hey, what's the next steps after after the season was kind of shut down and then, the bubble came. We weren't invited to the bubble. So it kind of was a 9 month hiatus, really, for me. Not playing in any games, just working out, staying in the best shape that I could, and just trying to make do with what was possible. So it was kind of a hard 9 months for me, trying to figure out what's the next thing for me coming out of COVID and figuring out, hey, what's the next team I'm gonna go to, because teams hadn't seen me play or known what I was doing at the time, while everything was going on. So definitely interesting to go through that. Definitely, a lot of hurdles that have, followed, but that's the journey. That's the journey of being in the NBA and being a professional athlete.
You mentioned that the Detroit Pistons weren't invited to the bubble, and that was because the NBA decided that when the coronavirus hit, that they were going to stop the season, end the regular season, and begin the postseason. Again, a member of the Detroit Pistons who did not qualify for the playoffs. What was your opinion about not being invited to the bubble? And did you wish that instead there was a more marketable opportunity for you and the Detroit Pistons to present yourself, meaning that, to play on television and to show your skills?
No, I think it was the right decision. I mean, you didn't want to have all 30 teams down there to play necessarily. You wanted to have just the right group, really. I mean, the teams that, hey, have a chance to make the playoffs. So I think what it was, 8 teams that weren't invited, or 6 teams that weren't invited. So we were all sitting at home just waiting. And it was good. It was a good thing and a bad thing for a lot of different teams. For myself, creating brands, creating different things for off the court wise, but on the court, a lot of teams lost a lot of revenue. Not being able to sell tickets in the stands, not being able to promote for what they have going on as an organization. So it definitely was eventful for a lot of different situations for so many people, and it impacted so many people as well. So definitely learning experience for sure.
Year-round, NBA rumors and reports arise about player dissatisfaction. This summer was no different, as Kevin Durant requested a trade, yet was able to work with the Brooklyn Nets brass and agreed to stay, while reports about Kyrie Irving's future were constantly swirling. Playing with the Brooklyn Nets for a short period in December 2021, can you share some perspective about how these players are portrayed in the media?
I think it's tough from the perspective of you say one thing in the media and they kind of run with the story. So for both the individuals, it's always tough. They're very enlightened and very great. I have great conversation with both of them when I was there. Had my time in Brooklyn this past season and learned a lot. Learned a lot from both of them and truly just on the court learning and off the court learning as well. So, hey, it is what it is. Everybody wants to control their own narrative, and I give them a lot of kudos because they do want to take control of their narrative with every situation that they're put in.
I've mentioned, the Phoenix Suns, Detroit Pistons, Brooklyn Nets, and you played with 7 NBA teams. Is there a particular coach that stands out?
Um, I definitely want to give a shout out to the Knicks with Derek Fisher. He was my first coach. Gave me a lot of opportunity. Gave me the confidence that I needed to play on the court. Coach Casey, another coach that gave me a lot of confidence in Detroit as my time was going on there. And then Monty Williams, another great coach that has been in my corner as well. So I've had a lot of coaches along the way, and I've benefited from a lot of different situations. So it's truly been a journey, but it's been a blessing to be able to learn from so many great individuals that have shaped my career.
When you talk about Detroit and New York and Phoenix, seemingly in a lot of these scenarios and situations, you were always a veteran, and you were always playing with younger players, whether it was Mikal Bridges, I believe maybe Christian Wood with the Detroit Pistons, and Kristaps Porzingis in New York. What is that like when you're working with these young, fresh blood, and you see where they are now?
No, it's great. It's great. It's a testament to the hard work that they've put into their games, and then also to the situation they're put in. A lot of uh, kind of growth and being able to see somebody learn and like shape and mold into their kind of true form. It really comes from opportunity, from a situation that benefits them going forward. And I think that all of the three gentlemen that you mentioned, like they all have gotten into situations that have really been beneficial for them, and it's really impacted their careers in upward trend.
Playing with G League teams, but also in the NBA, how much do you find defensive schemes change between teams and leagues, respectively? Or are a lot of the teams and leagues using similar blueprints?
Not everybody uses the same thing, same blueprint, same kind of breakdowns, but it all comes down to the terminology. Everybody changes the terminologies to when a team calls a specific thing, like for example, when you're trying to keep the ball on the sideline. To kind of give you an example, most teams call it blue, then some teams call it ice, then some teams call it push. It just depends on the team and how they want to disguise their scheme. So that's the one thing that I've been very fortunate, like going into year 9 for me this upcoming year, and to be able to be around for so long and be able to understand. Okay, they might call it this, but it's the same thing. The same thing, just different terminology.
I know we just started this interview, but that might be one of the most surprising things I've ever heard of. Just considered that you've been in the league for say more than a decade, and the style has changed. You think of LeBron James in Miami or Cleveland. Now he's in Los Angeles, and the player movements. I really would have thought that there just would have been differences and new coaches, younger coaches from different leagues, different universities. It's really an eye opener per se.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a lot of ways to reinvent the wheel, but when it comes to basketball, you can't reinvent the wheel. It's
Not to that
one thing,
degree.
one thing only. So you got to keep it apples with apples and not apples and oranges. You can't do that.
A student of St. Joseph's University for 4 years in Philadelphia and graduating with bachelor's degrees in communications and sports marketing in December 2013, can you provide insight into how athletes balance academics during their collegiate career?
It's all about time management. I would say a lot of sacrifice. Working on my game while pursuing my degrees, as well as a lot of dedication. Knowing that I wanted to not just be successful at basketball, but I also want to be successful in the classroom. And then at a prestigious school at St. Joe's, like the curriculum is not just like a hard, I can just do my homework and take a couple of tests and pass. It's like you really have to be, locked into what you're doing, what's going on, learning from your classmates, picking up a lot of different things. I mean, and for example, for my capstone class within my business degree, it's a team project. So you have to pull your weight. You have to pull your weight. So I learned a lot of different classes that I've taken over the years that I can pinpoint specific things that I apply in life now, but it's not all of the criteria that I take and say, all right, I'm gonna take this and add this to my life. But it's just like small things that I can a credit to and say, hey, this really has benefited me and it really helped me going forward.
There's no way I could have invited you onto the radio show and not asked about Boston Celtics basketball. Um, Holding NBA Finals experience with the 2021 Phoenix Suns, how do you believe the Celtics can make another Finals run, and what are their keys to success?
It's really just about staying healthy. I think that's the biggest thing. When we made it to the finals with the Suns, it came down to just health. Like we had a lot of guys banged up, get into the finals, and it's it's great to get there, but it's like, hey, how do we do it again? How do you replicate something that you've been building over the last 6-7 months? And it's all about just staying healthy, and that's the biggest thing I would say for them is if they can stay healthy, they'll definitely have a pretty similar run.
Switching to your off the court interests, can you share about your sneaker brand ethics?
Yeah. So I launched my own sneaker brand, Ethics the Brand. We are going on month 8 now, 8 or 9. But we've been all, I guess you say, from the standpoint of all that we put into it has been myself and my wife, and we've really just hit the ground running as fast as possible, trying to gain the exposure, being able to make people understand about my story, but not so much just about my story, but about the brand story. And so ethics is all about the underdog, the player that hasn't been given a shot, hasn't
Undrafted.
undrafted, being able to fight through adversity, being able to sacrifice so much to get to your dreams and achieve those dreams. And that's what I've been trying to explain to so many people about what we have going on. And we've started to teeter towards getting more and more programs that are kind of coming towards us and approaching us and saying, hey, we want to do a partnership and build and grow. And we're loving it. We're loving it so far. So, I mean, I couldn't be more proud of where we're going and where we came from. And so, just small steps at a time. We're on the Ethics One, which is the LG ones. That's my first signature shoe. I'm just a signature athlete underneath the brand. And as we build, we look forward to finding other athletes in the grassroots programs of like high schools and middle schools coming up, trying to partner with them and find the ways that we can kind of make them sponsor as athletes as well. Then going over to different programs that we want to teeter towards in college, and then the women's basketball side as well. So we have a lot of things on our agenda that we want to hit. Those are our 3 goals that we really want to hit and continue to build with. But yeah, we're working on shoot 2, shoot 3 for LG 1, 2, and 3. So we're excited. We're excited about the brand and where we're headed, and we're excited for so many people to continue to look out for us and see what we're up to.
I think what's great to hear is that your audience, or your target audience per se, and the people you are looking to work with, are not, respectfully, the Division I college basketball programs, but instead you have your significantly smaller schools, you have younger children, you have the WNBA, and I think that's fantastic because you know everyone loves to see the new shoe brands that Jordan is dropping, or that Jason Tatum, who he's signing with, who Braun is working with. But I think that what you're doing is tremendous. And what was the rationale for not going again with these large shoe brands, but instead just working with your wife?
I wanted to do something different. I've done something different my whole entire life. Undrafted, that was one way. I've gone against the grain with. I could have went overseas and made money. I was like, no, I want to stay here in the States. Like that was number one. And then to stick with the bigger brands, like all the brands that everybody goes with nowadays. I mean, I could have stuck with them. I could have stuck it out and say, hey, I'm gonna just stay there and be a number. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be able to do something different, be able to create something that my family, my son, my daughter can see that legacy and be able to understand that, hey, look, my dad created something that can change history, not just for myself, but so many others that can kind of be impacted by the brand and impacted underneath the brand. So that's what it's all about. I just want to create a legacy, and it's not about the money or anything like that for me. It's all about just creating something that a lot of people can get behind, and they can create their own story. They can create their own ethics. It's like, we were all raised on something, some moral, some compass of, hey, how did my parents raise me? How did my grandmother raise me? How did my sister raise? So many situations that have come about, but it's like, hey, how do you apply that to life? And that's what I'm all about, is just trying to create that ethics for so many others, and not just myself.
Earlier, you mentioned the Harvard Business School, and I think what you're referring to is the NBA's joint program with crossover into business. I was wondering if you could explain how slash if you think that changed your understanding of sports business and the fashion industry, or was it more so a sense of reassurance and a lot of reminders, and I don't know, maybe it was just another school experience?
No, Harvard Business School was great for me. Just the opportunity to not just learn from the kind of like the overseas other program, but it was more so you get paired with grad students that are already, have already went through the program, that are, they're working their 9 to 5s, or they're on their own entrepreneur kind of journeys. And so my mentees, well, my mentors, I'm the mentee, but my mentors really, impacted, when it came to case studies, how to apply it to what I'm working on. And also too, they've given me a lot of pointers about, hey, this is what I think you should do, this is what I think you could do, or hey, change this, change that. So I give a lot of credit to them, and all the hard work that we really put in. I mean, we didn't win the program because it does come down to a goal, but my main focus was all about just, hey, how can I apply this to what I'm working on with ethics, and that's all we did, and it really panned out.
Has there always been an interest in shoe branding, or was there ever an interest also in just traditional fashion marketing?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. I mean, I love fashion. I love dressing up. I love being involved in the fashion industry. But shoes is like my huge hobby, as from a kid, and it's something that I feel like I understand a lot more. I understand fashion and clothing and different things like that, but I'm not as like kind of understanding of like the nuances that people kind of change, and they add different things to clothes and different things like that. But when it comes to shoes, I know every ins, outs, you name it, I know it, because I'm a big passionate sneaker fan, and I'm a big collector as well.
When you look at your career, whether that's in college, playing in the NBA, or currently with the College Park Skyhawks, is there a particular moment or period where you can pinpoint and attribute those experiences towards the success of owning a shoe brand?
I would say they all add up, and they all learning experiences. I never say that it pinpoints it makes it say, make somebody say this is attributed to like my success. But I think that everything that I've learned over my lifetime, and everything that I've been through has really attributed to what I'm going through now, and how I continue to take this journey and continue to roll with it. So I just, along the way, you never burn any bridges. You just learn and continue to grow and continue to make the most of each opportunity. So that's all it's about.
In May 2019, Two Chains joined the Skyhawks ownership group. What has that been like?
It's been great. It's been great. I've had what, 2 or 3 encounters with them, just to talk, but I was, you know, discussing some big things that could help me, as as a brand owner, and possibly, something that we could do going forward. So hey, you never know. You never know. So we'll see.
More importantly, does this mean that practice playlists usually are dominated by one artist?
I wouldn't say that, but I mean, I definitely would.
Everyone in College Park gets the love.
Yeah, I mean, especially when he's at the game. Oh yeah, it's definitely dominated by what he has going on. But when it comes to practice and all that, it's all on us, all on the players to kind of make that decision.
Various Brandeis students have expressed their interest in fashion marketing. What advice do you have for them?
Number one, if you're really passionate about it, something that's a hobby or something that you feel like you're putting a lot of time and effort into, I feel like, hey, if you're going to do it, go 1,000% into it. Don't just lackluster and just have one foot in, one foot out, saying, this is my plan B. If it doesn't work, I feel like you should have plan A. And it's like, hey, if you run out of eggs in plan A, go get some more eggs and throw them in there. So I feel like you have to put everything that you physically can into plan A and make that work. And if it doesn't work, you can always pivot. You can always say, all right, well, if this isn't working, well, maybe we could do something alongside of what we're doing with that. So it's never like, oh, we have to just go ahead and just drop everything and just go to something else. It's like, hey, look, you have to find a way to continue to push that narrative and push what you want to get out there in the world.
Langston Galloway, thank you for taking the time to join the program today. Best of luck this upcoming season.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And good luck to all the entrepreneurs out there for sure.